Are you studying computer science and you need to come up with some ideas to build your own project? Or maybe you are just thinking of learning a new language and you want to spend some time practicing it. Well, I have got you covered with these 5 ideas for a computer science or software project. First of all, I guess any project has varying degrees of difficulty, so that you could have stretch goals. For this reason, I'm going to start simple and maybe add some suggestions to improve after. Number 1, a CSV file reader. This is actually an incredibly common situation. You have a large SCV file and you need to read all the data. First of all, you need to find a dataset. There are plenty of datasets out there. An easy place to start is to search for government open data. So here in the UK, I was able to browse the house price index for 2020 and I just found a CSV that seemed suitable. You could create a Python application that reads the data and displays it to console, or you could go a step further and save the data in an SQL database like Postgres, for example. This is quite interesting because you will have to consider parsing data to suit the SQL data format you decide to go for and ensure all records are saved correctly. Number 2, a to-do mobile app. Everyone has a smartphone. Wouldn't it be great to build your own mobile app? I suggest the simplest approach to start with, a React Native mobile app. If you are experienced with JavaScript to some degree, this could be your best bet. I found React Native to be really simple to use, and the documentation is great. Although the initial setup could be frustrating, the tooling around React Native has improved massively in the last couple of years. Now you could even run your code in the web browser via Expo, lowering the entry level even further. Once you've figured out how everything connects together and how to run your app on your own mobile, building the to-do app should be very straightforward. If you wanted to make things a bit harder, you could even save the state of your to-do list to a Firebase backend. If you are not sure what a Firebase is, basically this is a backend as a service backed by Google. It provides developers with REST API to store data in a JSON-like documents. Having mobile app interacting with Firebase is quite a common stack these days. If you think a to-do app is too simple, how about a game of noughts and crosses? I built my own based on Peppa Pig characters for my children to play with, but you surely can make something better than Peppa. Number 3, the e-commerce store. There are plenty of great choices out there for building e-commerce applications, but if you want to get your hands dirty, building a web store yourself will be a fun project to do. You could use JavaScript, PHP, Ruby on Rails, or Python's Django, for example, and create a web storefront that displays the products in your catalogue and allows products to be added to a basket for the purchase. If you wanted to go all the way to the end, you could integrate your checkout process with PayPal. To be honest, it's been a while since I integrated with PayPal, and the last time I did it, there was a client API for the 5 to 6 most popular languages at the time, like Java, .NET, JavaScript, PHP, but now it seems like there is only one REST API for all, so that should make things easier to find the right documentation for developers. There could even be a further layer of complexity added here. If you wanted to create an admin portal for adding products to your catalogue, etc., in that specific scenario, Django is really good because it has one admin portal out of the box, but equally it would not surprise me if there was a gem for something similar in Rails. Number 4, your invoicing app. This may sound odd for a student project, but I was actually freelancing when I was a student, and this is a useful application which I myself use quite a lot. As a small business or freelancer, you will want to generate your own invoices, and rendering a PDF can be quite fun. An obvious choice for me would be to use Java, but it doesn't have to be Java. I built a Spring Boot web app with a simple web form to enter some invoicing data and FreeMarker to define how my invoice would look like. The rendering of the HTML to PDF was done with Apache PDF Box, but again you can find your preferred tool for the job. To speed up the invoice generation, I placed most of the invoice data into a configuration file for simplicity. But stretch goal here would be to create an admin page for changing invoice settings like company name, address, etc. Number 5, Symptom Checker Chatbot. AI is the hot word of the moment. Exploring some of the modern tooling capabilities could be a great computer science project idea. For example, if you consider the current situation in the world with coronavirus, you could build a COVID-19 symptom checker in a conversational style. You could use platforms like Amazon Alexa or Google Dialogflow. The platform will enable you to define and test conversational paths. Once you are done, you can integrate your dialogue logic with your front end, for example, a React application that lets you message your chatbot. So, with these 5 projects, I think a lot of areas of software development have been covered. So you should have learnt skills covering file handling, web applications, vendor API integrations, SQL and NoSQL databases, some mobile app knowledge and a bit of AI. Obviously, there are many more areas to cover, but these 5 projects should give you something interesting to do as a student project. I think the critical takeaway here is to either build something because you want to learn a specific language or framework, or maybe build something that you will think has some real use for you. I am planning to do a video on deploying your web application or serverless application online with Heroku and Netlify, so if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe and you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.